Cosimo, well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Well, David, it's a pleasure, and definitely thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here.
Well, you're very welcome. So, to kind of get things started, what do you do for FluidMesh?
I'm one of the founder of the company, and I am the VP of marketing for FluidMesh Networks worldwide. So I take care of spreading the word about wireless technology, what we do, and exactly all the different markets and all the different applications that we can satisfy right now.
Well, in addition to being an evangelist for FluidMesh, how did you get started in the wireless industry?
It is a pretty interesting question. Actually, FluidMesh, it's pretty much the beginning of my career in the wireless industry. I have a bit of a different background in mechanical and marine engineering. And we started the company when we were still graduate students at MIT. And it was born really out of a pretty simple idea. Out of a business competition, we put a business plan together. We had this idea about running wireless cameras with this new technology, and I've always been involved in pretty high-tech sort of things, and that was one of the projects we were working on. So we said, okay, let's try to give it some sort of business meaning to it and see where it goes. And the competition really didn't go that well. We didn't even make it to second round, but the idea kind of took off, and we spoke with a lot of people that were pretty interested about the technology and about the idea, and that's pretty much the beginning of the company.
Well, that's very interesting. So, with how you got started in the wireless industry, that kind of coincides on how FluidMesh kind of started for the most part.
Yes, absolutely. It's we come with a very different and very new approach to the market, and we decided to focus since the very beginning into this video surveillance vertical, simply because it was the one that needed the highest level of redundancy and reliability, and there weren't really that many solutions out there that could provide anything comparable to what we can provide. Then things kind of evolved from there. The company grew, and we are now branching out to other verticals, which are not only security, but we do also IP backhauling and cellular backhauling and WiMAX and voice over IP and things like that. But the core of the business for the beginning of the company was really video surveillance, and it's been like that until probably last year.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, speaking of video surveillance in FluidMesh, on FluidMesh's website it states, with the introduction of FluidMax, every FluidMesh product is now capable of operating with a centralized or a distributed medium access control protocol, depending on the network layout. Now, why is this important to your customer, and how does your customer use this technology?
Good question. So what's happening in the industry really is everyone is trying to make things simple. And what we really thought was, well, instead of actually having 3 different products for the 3 different applications, which are point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, and mesh like everyone else, we said, how about we come up with a product that can fit point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, and mesh, and can do all 3 of them without really any sort of user configuration. And that is really the idea behind FluidMax. It's a patent-pending protocol that automatically analyzes the layout of the network and picks the best protocol. So it allows you to have 2 products into one single hardware. The advantage is ease of use. The user doesn't have to predict or analyze how the network has to behave from a protocol standpoint beforehand. They can install the system, and the FluidMax technology will actually be able to decide if it has to operate with a centralized medium access control protocol or with a distributed medium access control protocol.
Now, does that coincide with changes in the wireless industry, or what do you see as the most significant changes that are occurring within the wireless industry?
Well, this FluidMax is, it's one of the new features that are available in the market. I would say overall, as an industry, we are seeing two things, and I think it's a very interesting moment for the wireless industry. We are seeing, number one, that the performances of the system are going up. We can now provide much more bandwidth, we can be much more reliable, we can cover farther distances. So applications like megapixel cameras or applications like multi-scope networks where you have video, you have audio, you have, I don't know, data and multi-services running on the same network are all possible. The other thing we are seeing is the cost of the hardware is going down. It's going down mainly because of two reasons. Clearly, there is more wireless out there. Every manufacturing is doing their best to come up with a competitive product. And also, the products are simpler to use. So the amount of time that we have to spend in tech support, design, servicing the system is getting reduced by quite a bit, which allow us to clearly reduce the cost of the product and allow our customer to provide to their own end users a more cost-effective solution.
That's interesting. Now, with the increase in performance and the decrease in equipment costs or costs for manufacturing, how's that going to impact wireless security in general?
Good question. We expect to see an increase in wireless applications out there pretty substantially across in the next couple of years. There is also another big component which is important and we should mention, which is the knowledge in the marketplace. So a lot of users now are becoming pretty familiar with IP technology. IP cameras, Ethernet cables, setting a network, default gateway, and all those terms that until like 1 or 2 years ago for a lot of people were really some sort of magic language. Right now we see more and more integrators that are picking up on this knowledge, and if you put that together with the fact that wireless is becoming more cost effective, it's becoming more reliable, and overall the market size will definitely increase, and wireless will become available and a viable solution for a lot of people.
Well, let's hope that it becomes a very viable solution. I agree with you. I think the industry is becoming more educated with wireless and what it can do. Now, given that, what do you see as the security industry's biggest challenge or challenges using wireless technology?
That is a good question. I think something that we need to state is running video for video surveillance applications over wireless is a challenging task. And there is a lot of people in the industry that have been